remember that they're changing my voice. This is part 3. I urge you to watch the other 2 parts first. I'm making this video for TikTok, but I should be uploading it to my Poison Christ channel on YouTube as well. So let's get into this. So in part 1, I discussed what a true warrior is, what a true king is, right? Ruling in righteousness and the fear of God, and how there's a moral consideration in regards to which warriors are elevated. Killing people is just killing people, okay? Doing martial arts is just doing martial arts unless it is in the spirit of God, okay? That's why it's called David's Mighty Warriors, but they didn't use the term martial arts when the first people translated the Bible and the other people followed suit. It's actually David's mighty martial art warrior heroes, champions, what have you. Mind, body, soul, and spirit considered. So, again, we talked about Eleazar, okay? Well, we talked about Joseph first, then Eleazar, okay, and then Shema, okay? So, again, it says, next to him was Shema, son of Agi the Harite. When the Philistines banded together at a place where there was a field of lentils, Israel's troops fled for them. But Shema took his stand in the middle of the field. He defended it and struck the Philistines down. And the Lord brought about a great victory. So his courage, his dedication, perseverance, okay, focus, heart, justice, righteousness. You see how these are martial art principles that he is embodying, right? In Judges 3, God left the enemies of Israel around, the other nations around, to teach them warfare. So God is teaching them the way they should go. Okay, it says in Isaiah, the Lord who directs you in the way you should go. And he's teaching them to be a warrior nation where women are supposed to admire the warriors and let nothing, admire the true warriors according to their deeds, and let nothing stop them from romantic justice. Their main purpose is to support, right, to be suitable helpers. The reason why Eve was created, for true warriors of God. Before the warrior order was established by Nimrod, we already had Abel being killed by Cain unfairly. Okay, so it established, it overkilled, that God's teaching included, do not be a wicked person killing for a wicked reason. Okay. So again, we talked about Joshua, Eleazar, and Shema. During the harvest time, 3 of the 30 chief warriors came down to David at the cave of Adullam. A, Dal, M, Dal, A. Okay, I'm not that, but that's the wordplay there. While a band of Philistines was encamped in the valley of Rephaim. At that time, David was on the stronghold, and the Philistine garrison was at Bethlehem. The Philistine garrison was at where? Bethlehem, right? Jesus of Nazareth, and where else? Bethlehem. Okay? The house of bread, where Egypt was the factory of bread, right? The Nile, the wheat, the area, you know, lots of people relying on the bread of Egypt, including the Roman army. The factory of bread. Bethlehem, the house of bread. At that time, David was on the stronghold, and the Philistine garrison was at Bethlehem. David longed for water and said, oh, that someone would give me a drink of water from the well near the gate of Bethlehem. Now, when the king, and I'm the King of Kings, I go beyond David, said, I want this water, how did they respond? Did they say, well, you know, that's unreasonable? Without him asking them to do that, he just said that out loud. What happens next? Verse 16. So the 3 mighty warriors broke through the Philistine lines, drew water from the well near the gate of Bethlehem, and carried it back to David. It's the gate, right? Jesus said, I'm the gate. They drew water. This is symbolic. Okay? They drew water symbolically and spiritually. After breaking through the Philistine lines, manning up and breaking through the lines and doing what they felt God required. And they carried it back to David. But he refused to drink it. Instead, he poured it out before the Lord. He poured it out before the Lord. So God wasn't pushed away by David's treachery. He didn't come there to rebuke him. God's Spirit was there, and it wasn't there to rebuke him. So he poured it out before the Lord. Far be it from me, Lord, to do this, he said. Is it not the blood of men who went at the risk of their lives? And David would not drink it. So here we see water being compared to blood, right? The wine is compared to blood in Mass and Communion, right? Which says, eat this bread in remembrance of me, drink this wine, right? The body, the blood that was shed, okay? And he's refusing to drink it and he compares it to blood that's shed in battle. He said these people are wounded, what have you, their blood got shed. Is it not the blood of men who went at the risk of their lives, and David would not drink it? Such were the exploits of the three mighty warriors. Abishai, the brother of Joab, son of Zeruiah, was chief of the three. This is interesting. There might be a typo here because I typed this up from me writing in my phone because I can't copy it over. I get hacked. It's a long story. But that might be a typo when it says chief of the three. But we'll get to that in the comments. He raised his spear against 300 men, who he killed, and so became as famous as the three. So he raised his spear against 300 men. Was he not held in greater honor than the three? He became their commander, even though he was not included among them. So why was Abishai? Okay, and he is someone who is of significance in the books of Samuel as well. Okay, why is he held in greater honor than the three? This has to do with universal pinpoint and moral precision. My religion almost, to someone with sense can be chopped up to universal pinpoint and moral precision and focused moral intensity because it defaults with monotheism as the logical and moral conclusion of why we're here. The natural order, one son, one head, one father, head of the household, and on and on and on. Okay, one heart, one brain. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, a valiant fighter from Kabzeel, performed many great exploits. He struck down Moab's two mightiest warriors. Again, you see how this comes again and again, this idea that Goliath was a champion of Philistines. He struck down by David. Benaiah, like David's right-hand man, it says elsewhere in the Bible, he struck down two of Moab's mightiest warriors. He also went down into a pit on a snowy dale and killed a lion. So lion, the devil's compared to the lion, and the Lion of Judah is compared to a lion. Of course, they're referring to he struck down a devilish spirit, okay, in the form of a person, in the form of a lion, right? The pit, right? When you sin, you go down to the pit. So he went down into those sinner realm and struck down a devil spirit is what it's symbolic of. Verse 21, and he struck down a huge Egyptian. Now, why did they bring up that he's a huge Egyptian? I thought we're all equal, that's what people said. And characteristics don't matter, apparently. And you should just date scum and yoke yourself to sinner and pretend you're a Christian, right? No. He said this guy's a huge Egyptian. So just like where they're telling you how many people they struck down, okay, which is figurative numbers, mind you. These guys didn't actually strike down 800. It's like nearly impossible. It's basically impossible to strike down 800 people. Can you imagine how much physical exertion that would take? You're striking them down back to back, bang, 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 with extreme force, okay? Enough force to kill them at least. Not going to happen. Okay, so the numbers are figurative, just like the number 1,000 in Revelation, right? The number of completion. Okay, 7, right? And talking about, Genesis and the creation stories and so on and so forth. Okay, so he struck down a huge Egyptian. All the Egyptian had a spear in his hand. Benaiah went against him with a club. He snatched the spear from the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. So it even tells a story of how he killed him. He said he has a club, and this guy's a spear, and he's trying to strike him, and he grabs the spear, takes it from his hand, and strikes him down with his own spear, which is symbolic of the spirit in which he was given, the spirit in which he was received, the spirit in which he tried to strike him down, and the spirit in which he was struck down. Such were the exploits of Benaiah, son of Jehoiada. He too was as famous as the three mighty warriors. He was held in greater honor than any of the 30, but he was not included among the three. And David put him in charge of his bodyguard. And you see, when David starts ascending to the throne in the books of Samuel, he sends Benaiah out to go start killing people. He said, this guy did that, go kill him. Boom. Did David forgive those people their trespasses against God Almighty and the righteous that they had done wrong? No. He said, go strike them down. There is no other way to look at it. It is a Royal African Falcon martial art order, where the root that God's Spirit came to Abraham from was through Nimrod. He even lived in the tents of Nimrod. In Ur, in Chaldea, in the Babylonian Empire, Nimrod had established. God established Adam and Noah and Nimrod established Abraham. Then came Isaac and Jacob and Moses and David, etc. Thank you.